Hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I am JP Craddock, and that is the one and only Stacy D Love. We are broadcasting remotely here on KUAW Radio. Before I get to the question of the day, Stacy D, you got one strap under control. The other one is still doing what it want to do.
I got the wrong underwear on today, okay? I was rushing. Y'all know I'm disabled. See, look at me.
Okay. Wait till you check in to tell us what happened. Okay. Coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is it possible to love another person too much? And if so, what does that look like? We usually land on the question of the day around the 2:30 mark, about halfway through the show. That will be coming up after our check-ins and mental health and illness in the news. I see that the D has an injury. Stacy D, you got a boot on your leg. What happened?
Everybody know I'm trying to get ready for Tulum, okay? You know, that's 45 minutes outside of Cancun. You know, I got all these. Hey, guess what, everybody? I did meet my weight goal. Now I just made another weight goal. I'm trying to lose 7 more pounds before 6 days in a wake up. I'm really trying to lose these 7 pounds. So now, you know, when you get down to your weight, at least this is how I do it. I like to get down to my weight and then start building it up. Okay, so you know, it took me a little longer than I expected to get down to the weight. So now I'm trying to build it up. So, you know, I'm doing it 10 times faster. But guess what? My body ain't no 30 nothing. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Did you go flying off the back of a treadmill? Stacy D, you flew off the back of a treadmill, didn't you?
No, I got more oomph than that. No, I'm doing jumping jacks. I'm doing jumping jacks.
A jumping jack ain't never hurt nobody.
It hurt me when my foot went squeak.
Oh, I don't understand the building back up part. What do you mean you lose weight and what are you building up?
I do my muscle. Once I lose what I want to lose, and then I start building the muscle up.
Oh, okay.
Then I gotta eat. Then I gotta get toned. Because then I gotta eat differently. Because like I eat differently to lose the weight than what I do when I go into training.
Oh, okay.
And
so that's I mean, you got this big boot on, so I'm assuming the jumping jacks are put on hold right now.
Yeah, everything's put on hold right now. I can't do nothing.
Because you know we were supposed to go to a workout class today.
I know. I've been trying to get to a workout class for a whole month. T-Baby, I'm so sorry. Because I'm telling you, I used to didn't even do bonds on Thursday. Now, as soon as we get off the monitor, as soon as we get off the show, I'm rushing to do a bond. And they have house arrest, and then I'm not getting off in time enough to support my friend. I'm sorry, Terry. I'm sorry that I'm putting money in front of our friendship, but everybody know I'm self-employed.
She is too, and so am I, and so is Mr. Walker. She canceled anyway today.
For real?
Yes.
Really?
She canceled. But still, she told me you had missed a month of workout classes.
Yeah, I used to didn't even do no bonds. I'm really dark, you guys. I don't know what's going on.
Here we go. Here we go with the light issue.
I don't know because my friend Inga bought me a light and it's still not doing right. I done got real dark hair on you guys.
Yes, you look like you've been tanning a lot.
Like I already been to Cancun.
Because she constantly has this issue. Fortunately, we are at the tail end of remote broadcasting because
I was doing a home visit right by the flights today.
By the station.
By the station, I was doing a home visit. That's why I'm running late. Because usually everybody, I have time.
Oh, that's perfect. Stay right there, Stacy D. Actually, that's still good. That's perfect.
Lean in. I gotta lean in. Y'all know how y'all do how lean in.
You gonna sit like that the whole show? You tried to bring your sexy back during the whole show.
Okay, yeah, I guess I think it's camera.
Perfect.
Okay.
Although
oh, okay.
the lighting is
no
perfect now. You just your whole Stacy D, when are you gonna get this problem fixed?
We're going back into the studio. I done bought a whole new monitor, so I really don't know what it is. I mean, I got a 32-inch monitor, boy. I could see y'all into yesterday or tomorrow.
Where is the light? Where is the light that she bought you?
It's over the camera. Yeah, because I could not do my office by the window because I know I'm ADHD. I've been and looked at see what the mailman and ran, the trash man, the little bad kids in the neighborhood. I wouldn't get no work done.
Okay, well, if you lean back, half of your head is gonna be gone. See, ain't nothing.
I'm gonna have to lean. Okay, hold on. The chair is up. Oh, see, there it go. Went all bad.
It was perfect last week. Okay, while you figure that out, we're gonna get to my check-in. Okay, because I got a message for preachers today.
I don't. It better not be nothing bad because my pastor be watching.
I got a message for preachers today. Is your preacher watching?
I'm sure he is.
Tell him to get ready.
Look at Mr. Walker. He just turned his back on you.
Mr. Walker's like, Mr. Walker don't want no parts of me coming at the preacher. I need to discuss preachers and funerals. Okay, so last week I attended the funeral of a person who just has a beautiful spirit, just a kind, warm-hearted, a gentle soul. Okay, this woman was such a gentle soul. May she rest in peace. Her name is Tracy Smith. And so we're at the funeral, and the preacher says, well, now we get into the part that I dread the most. First thing, who's talking like that?
He's doing a eulogy. He's doing the eulogy.
No, he wasn't talking about the eulogy.
Oh, what was he talking about then?
The part he said he dreads the most is
when people... offering?
No, he didn't ask for offering. You better not ask for no offering at no funeral. Let me tell you, people are not showing up.
I've been to a funeral that they did that, and I talked about I went and hit the pastor on his thing. It was like, you was wrong for that, because the D was gonna have to tell it like it is. I'm like, this was not the place for that. This was not the place for that.
Fortunately, I've never seen a pastor.
And it was a Wyandotte County pastor, FYI. I'm not gonna give him no more because I checked.
You ain't gonna totally put him on blast.
I'm not gonna totally put him out there at a mega church too.
Well, let me tell you what this preacher ended up saying. He was talking about the 2 minutes that people get to.
I can see why people say that, because they get up there and start acting retarded.
No, Stacy D.
Yes.
Here's why I have a problem with that. I need for preachers to shut up being overzealous in trying to limit people to 2 minutes. I thought that was, I always get pissed about this. It's grossly inappropriate, because I'm not saying that people need to be up there giving a 30-minute monologue.
But they do.
Okay. And some people do. But when you are officiating somebody's funeral and I'm saying this on the air because if I drop dead anytime soon, this better not happen in my funeral.
Well, you don't tell people they're gonna have a 5-minute limit because people got to do a whole lot talking about you, JP. 2 minutes is just not gonna be enough. And then I'm gonna tell Nadine that it needs at least be like maybe 5 or 10 people. Okay. See, that's the problem when they don't have no control over it. Okay. But just like my kids, I got my stuff together. We're doing a graveside visual. Hey, boom, 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 throw me up in there, and we done.
Well, here's my thoughts. When a person steps up into the pulpit to do their 2-minute spiel, they are trying to summarize the impact that this person had upon their life in 2 minutes. That is hard to do, especially for people who, I'm talking their kids, their spouse. It's like, you are limiting me to 2 minutes to summarize the impact that this person had on my life. Here's what I need preachers to understand. I think preachers want to rush through this because they want to get to the eulogy and preach their sermon. This is the bottom line.
That's not it. That's not it. My uncle owns a funeral home. They have a certain time to get to that burial if they're getting buried. They have a certain time to get to the cemetery. And that's what it is. So it's a certain amount of time for this, a certain amount of time for that, and a certain amount of time for that. So if they don't get to the cemetery in the right time, then they can get fined or won't be able to do it. Especially if they're going to the veteran cemetery. I know this because my uncle used to have me over funerals, and I'll be up there crying with the people. You know how I get sensitive, and I couldn't help nobody because I'll be up in there crying, and he just tell me, niece, don't help me with the funeral homes no more. But yeah, that's the reason why. It's a time limit.
That's not a legitimate excuse. Start earlier. Why are they not starting?
Families don't like starting till 11 o'clock.
Okay. They need to schedule getting the deceased loved one in the grave long enough to not make people uncomfortable about this whole 2 minutes. Because here's the truth of the matter. This is something that preachers need to realize. Most people have been to enough funerals. They are not looking forward to that preacher's sermon. These preachers are not saying anything that we have not heard at a million other funerals.
Some eulogies be good too. I don't want to see some good funerals. Because I used to say,
I done spent half my life at funerals. They ain't saying crap I ain't heard before.
Some of them be good. Some of them be good. It's all about.
They need to shut up, D. Here's the thing.
No, they need to always say their word because they can help someone. I'm not going to be able to agree with you on that one.
Most people, their main thing that they are looking forward to at a funeral is hearing the reflections of a person's life and how that person touched this person's life and that person's life and this person's life. That's what people want to hear. It is not about the preacher. Why does everything in the Black church end up being about the preacher? Why?
I'm not even going to touch with you on this subject. You're going to go this one out by yourself. Go ahead on.
You know I mean everything I'm saying.
I know you do. And that's why I'm not.
Look, the views of JP are not the views of KUAW Radio.
Or Stacy D. Stacy D.
Stacy D. Let me tell you, I might be standing alone in this, and here's what I like, is that some of the people had a wonderful way of addressing with the preacher that they didn't necessarily appreciate that. You know, they made little comments about him when they got up there, subtle things like, well, I'm an educator, and so I clearly know how to follow instructions. So let me try to keep
that was being nasty. That was
to
being
2
nice
minutes.
Nasty. That was being nice nasty.
And I loved it. Check the preacher.
Yeah, because that's you. That's you. Why are you going to check the preacher when he's doing his job?
The preacher need to shorten his sermon. Shorten his sermon. Because People want to
hear
hear
about that. You need to talk to the family about that because they could have did a whole sermon on reflections and they didn't.
They probably didn't know that the preacher.
Well, you have to ask. You could say you don't even want a eulogy.
That's the way to go.
When my stepfather died, we didn't even have a eulogy. It was just people doing reflections, and honey, they was up there doing them some reflections.
Because the funeral is about the deceased loved one, not about the preacher getting up there preaching the same sermon about get your life right so that you can get in heaven. Because you see that, life ends. Everybody's heard that. Let me tell you, Stacy D, at my funeral, if this happens, I need for you to stand up and stop that preacher. I know you ain't the one because you one of them black folks that got your preacher on a pedestal. Let me tell you something.
Hold on. No, I have
somebody listening to this show.
God on a pedestal. I respect my pastor. Okay? Get it
black
right.
Black folks worship their preacher more than they worship the Lord.
Well, that's not right. That's not right. I do not agree with that at all. I do not agree with that at all.
And it needs to stop.
And my pastor is not in front of my husband.
Good.
But first we better talk it over with Sasha, because Sasha's the one gonna be running everything.
My baby is not going to allow no preacher to make people uncomfortable because
she's not gonna do it. So there it is. You better tell her.
They're gonna say, but better not nobody get cut off unless they go. Now, if somebody go past the 5-10 minute mark, then I'm okay.
10 minutes? That's way too long.
2 minutes is way too short. Preachers need to be respectful of the deceased.
You know what? I'm Joe, because I know baby Sasha gonna have Auntie Stacy. Can you say something about my dad? I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna say he was a hell of a man. That sums it up. He was a hell of a husband and a father and a very good friend. I mean, there's nothing.
Thank you, D. And that'll be very short. The preacher will be very happy with you.
I like, Pastor, I kept it under my 2 minutes. I'm obedient.
I decided that I am going to start writing the instructions for that time when it comes where I pass away.
Because I'm also going to let you know this. We have dealt with that because of our parents. And my children is not near about as strong as I was, and I know how hard it was. So basically, my obituary is done. They don't think they're going to do is add some stuff in it. I already have my casket picked out. I have everything. Only thing they got to do is put me in a bomb dress, and I'm gonna have about 4 or 5 of them done, and find somebody to put a nice wig on and make me up, and we good.
Well, let me tell you, I haven't done all that. I haven't written an obituary.
You need to do it.
But everything else is paid for. The vault, the mausoleum,
all that is done.
So that I'm 6 feet above ground instead of 6 feet underground. All of that's paid for. Overlooking the lake. Let me tell you,
I don't care where you put me at, because I want my kids to enjoy my insurance money. Well, my grandkids. I want my grandkids to enjoy my insurance money because my spirit is gone. That's nothing but something that's left there. My spirit went on up to my father. I'm with my mama playing. Get my golden robe together, baby. Get my robe together and let me
let me tell you. And I agree with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I'm about to write specific instructions because if a preacher get up there and say something like that, I'm going to immediately start haunting. Rise up. In the funeral, I will start haunting right there.
Right there. And I know you will. So
okay.
Do that.
Let's get to mental health and illness in the news. I got 2 stories.
We're done with you talking about the pastors. Let's go.
Stacy D, you nervous because what I said to the pastors. I meant what I said to the pastors.
Oh, they know too. You JP.
And those people at that funeral who went way over 2 minutes, I was loved every word they said. Glad they went over 2 minutes. You got to do what you got to do.
So Tracy was in education?
School social worker.
Oh, she was a school social worker. Okay, cool.
KU graduate like us. Well, like me.
No.
UMKC. Yeah, UMKC. Okay. mental health and illness in the news. Naomi
first, and then UMKC.
Huh?
I went to PSU and then UMKC for my grad.
Yes. I'm talking about just graduate.
I thought you was K-State. You was at KU? I thought you was
K-State in undergrad.
Undergrad, okay.
KU for graduate school. Okay, so Naomi Osaka had a meltdown at the US Open. Mm-hmm. And by meltdown, I mean throwing her racket, beating it on the ground, screaming, all these different things. I mean, she basically had a full-on tantrum. Here's the problem that I had with it. The commentators kept saying that it was so out of character for her because she usually internalizes everything and holds everything in, which is the problem. Mm-hmm. That is the problem. And I wanted to yell at them.
That's why she gave it to us.
Because here's the thing. And we talked about Naomi Osaka on the show before when she was struggling with her anxiety level. And this is what happens when a person tries to hold everything in. They either implode or explode. She imploded when she was experiencing that debilitating anxiety. But you can only force so much and stuff so much before you end up blowing the lid off the container and exploding. And that is what's happening. I'm not saying that she should be exploding. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that the expectation, as they were talking about it, they basically indirectly were saying that she needed to do a better job of continuing to hold everything in and internalize everything. And that's ridiculous to have that expectation of a person. Okay. She needs to land in the middle because she's imploded and now she's exploded. She just needs to land in the middle and find a healthy way to release all these thoughts and feelings and everything. And then maybe she won't be screaming and breaking rackets and throwing stuff. Okay. So that's what I want our listeners to think about. Please do not stuff all your feelings, because before you know it, you're going to be in the middle of Walmart screaming and knocking everything off the shelves, and they're going to call the popo.
And then going to jail.
And you're going to jail.
Then call In-N-Out bail bond.
Which is Stacy D. She will show up and get you out of jail. All right. This next story is extremely unfortunate, but we need to talk about this. A 10-year-old boy in Kentucky by the name of Seven Bridges committed suicide after he was bullied and tormented by school peers for wearing a colonoscopy bag.
I missed that one. Are you serious?
A 10-year-old who had survived 26 surgeries. 26 surgeries that were unsuccessful at fixing his bowel condition. He survived 26 surgeries. He could not survive the relentless bullying by his peers at school. They were bullying him because, for those who don't know, a colonoscopy bag, it collects waste outside of the body, and there was an odor that was a part of his situation, and kids can be mean and cruel, and they teased him about that.
I got a granddaughter that's 10. His mother was a hell of a woman, because I would have been up there beating up people's kids.
Well, I feel like the school failed him if bullying persisted to this point.
And every school in the United States is supposed to have zero tolerance for bullying. Zero tolerance. That was done back in the Obama administration. Zero tolerance for bullying.
You want to know what they have zero tolerance for? When it comes to their zero tolerance, because I have addressed this with the schools multiple times, because, you know, back when Nadine and I were foster parenting, I was always having to go to school for kids getting bullied. And the way, and this is something I want parents to think about. I don't know how this child's parent handled it. I'm just saying in general, because I hate bullying. And my mother's rule was, you are not to allow anybody to bully you under any circumstances. You gonna handle that business. That's what you're gonna do.
And then tell them to call me.
How'd you know what she said? They can call me because
you gonna handle that. That's what my mama said, and that's what I said to my children.
Right. And so the way we have always handled bullying is we start by trying to help our kids to address the problem verbally, to try to back the bullies up off of them verbally. When that does not work, we have gone into the school and said, listen, our kid is being bullied. This is the situation. What is your plan for dealing with this situation? How can you eliminate this problem? Now, when the schools have failed, and I've had to go back into the school, when I have to go back into the school, that's to let the school know you have failed to eliminate this problem. And as a result of that, my kid will be punching faces. Their zero tolerance is that's when they really speak up on their zero tolerance. If your child hits anybody in this school, they're going to be suspended, even if the kid has hit him first. Even if a bully has hit a kid first, if you hit that kid back, you get suspended also. And that's their zero tolerance. You can't even defend yourself. And so what I have explained to schools is, you can suspend my kid, and that suspension, the whole suspension, is going to be a vacation. I'm talking at the house, chilling, watching TV, playing video games, eating bonbons. I don't care, because this problem has to be eliminated.
I agree.
And what I want parents to think about is, this is what can happen. Do not underestimate the impact of bullying. It is better for your kid to back a bully off of them than for you to come home and your child has committed suicide. Like, they have to back a bully up off of them. And the thing that I will always explain to my kids is, you don't even have to win a fight with a bully. Bullies are fueled by fear. So once you stand up to them, even if the bully ends up winning the fight, they tend to move on, because it's not fun bullying somebody who they gonna stand toe to toe and y'all gonna jab it out. Bullies are fueled by the power behind totally oppressing another person. And so when you find your voice, when you defend yourself on whatever level, whether it's verbally, whether it's physically, that will back them up off of you. And let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this. Before I say this, let me say once again, the views of JP. These are not the views of KUAW Radio.
But this view here might be the view of Stacy D, because I think he's about to go real raunchy, which I'm right there with you. Come on.
I once put a bounty on a bully's head. I know this sounds awful, but we speak.
What school were you in? What school were you in?
We speak the unspeakable up in here. Okay, this is what happened. One of my sons.
Mr. Walker, we don't want to hear you on the phone.
I wonder if everybody can hear Mr. Hopefully just we can hear Mr. Walker on the phone. Mr. Walker's having a full conversation.
Hello. Yeah, this is
Okay, let me tell you. Our kid was one of only 2 white kids in Wyandotte High School and was being bullied.
Really? One of them too? Wow. Yeah, he was getting bullied.
Yes.
He was getting
bullied. Because it's really like 50% African American and 50% Hispanic.
Oh, Hispanic? Okay.
Hispanic, yes. And so my kid was being bullied. And we tried to, work with him on it. Now, this is my son, who is a self-proclaimed pacifist, okay? And so we were sending him up into this school, and he was being bullied, went into the school. They couldn't eliminate the problem. And I put a bounty on the bully's head. I told this boy, I said, listen, you keep coming home scuffed up. This is a problem because you a pacifist. And I'm not nothing against those who are pacifists. I said, but I'm gonna give you $100 if you stand up to this bully. What a bounty! I put a bounty on the bullies. Will foster parent anymore, so I can't get in trouble.
Got to get some motivation in there, JP. Motivation.
Let me tell
motivation rules the
nation. And I can tell this story because Will foster parent anymore. Let me tell you.
I wonder why.
My other son, who was in middle school at the time, immediately jumped to claim the bell. I'll do it. Where is he? What's his name? I'm like, boy, you still in school when they get out of school. Can I leave school early? He wanted that $100. He was like, I will punch whoever in the face I got to punch in it. Point to your bully and I'm going to punch him in the face. And here's the thing. This is not I'm not suggesting that parents do this, by the way.
But it's a good idea.
But I did it. He never did it. And do you know that my son to this day still gets bullied? He's in a domestically violent relationship. His girlfriend punched him in the face in a New York minute, and that ain't number 30 seconds, okay? Like and of course I'm not wanting him to rough up his girlfriend. I'm just, we were never able to get him to set boundaries with bullies, and he has continued to get bullied. And periodically I remind him, like, remember I offered you $100 to punch your bully in the face and you wouldn't do it, and you was busted broke and needed that $100. So I'm just saying, parents, please, if your kid is getting bullied, I'm not saying that you need to take the drastic measures that I have taken with my kids or that I myself took as a kid, because I got suspended for attacking a bully. He hadn't even hit me first. My mom was like, the fool been bullied.
The first hit, and you didn't get in trouble when you got home either. And let me tell you about Mother Payne. She didn't play.
That rule,
didn't get in trouble for that.
I didn't get in, and that was the best suspension I ever had. And because my mother's thing was typically, yes, you need to wait until someone hits you and then you need to defend yourself. But when it was a bully, she was like, get the jump on them. Do what you got to do, but you're going to back a bully up off of you. All right, so parents, whatever.
Also, you guys, I'm sorry, Jake, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
But parents, we really need to really get on top of that with our children, because that's part of Maslow's hierarchy of need. So it most definitely is a need for a child to feel accepted. It really is really important. I mean, no matter how you put that self-esteem, that self-concept in your children, that's good. But when they get around their peers, they have to feel that acceptance. If not, then it goes the other way when they are trying to commit suicide. And remember, we talked about that, what was that, 2 weeks ago, about those
we talked about suicide just
we did talk about suicide. And you need to see those things. And you also, and these are things that we talked about way in the beginning part when we first started birthing Cognitions, Speaking Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D, when we were talking about having that family time with your children. Sit down, ask them, how was your day today? What did you learn today? Yes. Did you find a new friend? How do you feel about everything at school right now? These are things that because the times have changed. No, your parents maybe didn't go through all that with you, which mine did, and I did with my children. But these are things that these children are really needing, and it's really on you, on your parenting job, to be the best parent that you can, just to try to fish those things about your child so you understand what's going on. I'd rather for you to be on top of it and get on their nerves than you having to make funeral arrangements. I wish that on no mother. I wish that on no mother. Even though my children are grown, I don't want to have to bury them. So try your best to be involved in your children's life and find out what's going on, because this bullying thing is really a big thing now. And he's 10 years old. That means they were in the 5th grade. And I'm sorry, everybody, that I'm really getting emotional, because I have a 10-year-old granddaughter, and I just can't imagine it. Thank the Lord she has my personality, and she's one of the cool kids.
She's not getting bullied.
Exactly.
She's not getting bullied.
She's not getting bullied because I walk up to the school, and her mama is double ignorant than I. No, she might be half ignorant as I am, because I see red and I don't see nothing else. But she has a little bit more love or mind than me. But I had a grandson who's a twin who was not as outgoing, and it was a little bulliness there with him. Yeah, I had to go up to JFK. Yeah.
Right.
And it was my soror. She was like, Stacy, but I'm letting you know, I'll beat you up too.
Eliminate the problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like that feedback that you are giving our listeners about staying in touch with your children so that you know if they're being bullied. And these questions that Stacy D is pointing out, you need to ask those questions. And also, because bullying is not just by other kids, you need to also ask your kids, how did you get along with teachers today? How did you get along with the other kids today? Because I have also had to go into schools because I had a cafeteria lady that was bullying one of my kids. The cafeteria lady was tripping.
She wasn't giving him enough chicken nuggets.
She was harassing him about some paperwork that I had turned in the first day of school and was embarrassing my kid every day.
Serious?
Telling him he wasn't going to get to eat and all this kind of mess. Yes. And so verbally, we worked with him on how to set some boundaries with her. She continued to act a fool. I had to go up there, check the principal, told the principal, find this woman and bring her in this office. I had to check her too, okay? I had a kid bullied by a bus driver. The bus driver was out of control mean, okay?
Bus driver.
And he got to the point where he just started driving past my kids. They standing on the bus stop. He rolled up. I was like, I'm looking out the window like, this fool just drove past my kids. He gonna say my kids were on that bus stop. I'm looking at them. Had to work with them on checking the bus driver, had to deal with that situation. Also, you want to empower your kids to be able to respectfully confront these issues with adults too, because we can't teach our kids that because a person is an adult, that person gets to disrespect them, dehumanize them, and mistreat them in any way. When parents make the mistake of teaching their kids that adults have this all-encompassing power, you open the door to adults being able to commit all sorts of heinous abuse against your children. Teach your kids, just because this fool is grown, no, they don't get to say whatever they want to say. They don't get to touch you wherever they want to touch you. They grown, but they can get checked too. And that cafeteria lady here, well, did he tell you that he said to me? I said, that's exactly what I told him to tell you. He told you exactly what because you need to back up off of my kid. You bullying my kid.
Back up.
So I said, yeah. And she, well, I thought that was disrespectful. It wasn't disrespectful, it was the truth. You are a grown woman bullying a kid in the cafeteria line in front of all the other kids. What he said to you was the truth, and I told him to say it. Come on now. So, Stacey, I like all of those tips. Parents, please, please, please talk to your children every single day. You need to know bullying crushes the spirit of children, and it carries on into adulthood. I see adults in therapy who are still permanently scarred from the bullying.
From being a bully in school. Yes.
It has affected them into adulthood.
Okay. It just goes with you. Listeners, we are so sorry that we have went over time, but that news just really did hit real close to home, and it was something that needed to be said. I mean, we do apologize, but it most definitely was needed. It was something that needed to be said and talked about.
It's serious. Like, this is the second time.
I'm tired of hearing about kids, and I really want to say our children taking their lives behind getting bullied. Really?
Yes.
I mean, things have, like I said, times have really changed, because bullying, I guess it went on, but I guess I didn't really see it, and wasn't nobody killing herself behind it, because I was one of the baddest crowers in the world. Do you know what crowing is?
What's Stacy?
The mama jokes, crowing.
Yes, crow. Yes.
Was, honey. Talk about me. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna have the whole bus rolling in the school.
Well, but what you have to think about, modern day bullying is on a whole nother level, because nowadays they'll get on social media and will put a kid on blast for the whole city, the whole state, the whole world to see it.
So yeah, it has magnetized. I mean, magnitude is just so big now. And so I guess that would just really, really crush you when you only have to worry about the school or everybody on your bus or your class. Now it's so global.
It's everybody. You show up at your family reunion and all your cousins have seen.
I've seen the TikTok talking about you. What?
Yes, some horribly embarrassing story. And so I do feel for kids growing up in these modern times where everything they do is not only under a microscope, but can be exposed to everybody because of social media. And so that's all the more reason for parents to do, as you were saying, Stacy D, please check in with your kids every day. Talk to your children every day. Okay. We running late on the question of the day. Here's what we'll get through as much of it as we can, and then what we do not get through.
And everybody, I won't be here next week. I'll be in Tulum.
Which is wonderful, Stacy D. I
have not had a vacation in 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, I like doing them like 3 or 4 times a year because work is so stressful.
It's been 2 years for me. 2.5.
Yeah, because going down to Tennessee to the family is not a vacation, everybody.
That ain't a vacation.
Going to the family reunion is not a vacation, okay?
No, that's not a vacation.
I want to see water moving like
this. You so crazy.
That is a vacation.
That's a vacation.
A vacation.
That's a vacation. When you on a beach drinking, well, you ain't gonna be drinking a Mai Tai, but
a virgin one,
a Shirley Temple, something.
Because they don't want me to start drinking.
All you gonna do is go to sleep.
I had some peach cobbler for you.
What?
Call in guy and asked her about the peach cobbler.
Wait, is it gone?
In 2.2 seconds.
Don't tell me about a cobbler. Okay, the question of the day. Because you teasing somebody right now.
We only have 10 minutes for the question of the day. Is that enough?
We got 15. Okay. Question of the day. Is it possible to love another person too much? And if so, what does that look like? Okay. This question isn't just, let me first say, this question is not just about romantic love. This question is about love between friends, love between family, love between partners. Let's take a look at whether or not it is possible to love someone too much. Because I know that when people hear this, their immediate reaction might be, how can there be too much love? Love is good. Love. Oh, it set us free. But let's take a look at this. Okay, so let's start by defining unconditional love and conditional love. Unconditional love is loving someone through the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, loving them despite anything that they might do to you. Okay, that's unconditional love. Nothing impacts that love. Conditional love What you thinking about, Stacy D? The unconditional or the conditional?
The conditional love.
Okay, because something else about unconditional love, this is my own personal opinion, unconditional love only exists between parents and their children, but not between all parents and their children. Some parents and children have a conditional love relationship, but to me, your chances of seeing unconditional, purely unconditional love is a person's love for the Lord and love for their kids, and kids' love for their parents. But not with all parents and kids. Not with all parents and kids.
And you know what, JP? And you really have to be, if you was born into a love like that, it's easy for you to give it back. Like that's how it was with my mother, my great grandmother. I mean, it was generational, you know. And I seen how my grandmother had a love for my mother, and my great grandmother had a love for my grandmother, and that just naturally made me have that type of love for my children. And I also, and believe it or not, I also see how my great grandmother had a love for my great grandfather, and I think that's the reason why I have such a unconditional love for King. The ups and downs, the ins and the out, you know, that was it. My ride or die.
Unconditional love. And that's what unconditional love looks like. But like I said, not all parents and kids have unconditional love. Some parents and kids fall out of love with each other, or they drop down to conditional love. Okay, where they still love their kid, or the kids still love the mama. Or the daddy.
Come over here and do this, or help me pay my bills.
Well, conditions begin to come into play. And so conditional love is exactly how it sounds. The definition of conditional love is love with conditions. So let's take a look at what some of those conditions are. For most people, the conditions are that you treat the person in certain ways in order for them to either grow that love, otherwise it begins to fade or morph into love that is lesser. But usually conditional love, the condition is you got to treat me right. You have to, treat me with a level of dignity and respect, and don't do this to me and don't do that to me. Okay, that's conditional love. All right, so conditional love can fade all the way away. That is a love that, yes, it can be chipped away until the point where there's no love left. And this is where you have your divorces and different things, and all of those sorts of situations, family members who cut each other off because they're like, I have no more love for this person. All right. So conditional love says that I will continue to love you so long as you treat me with dignity and respect, as I was saying. Okay, so long as you value me as a person, so long as you do not abuse me emotionally or psychologically or physically or sexually. These are the conditions. I will love you so long as you act like you got some sense. That's conditional love. Okay, so it says pretty much, I will love you so long as your actions are a direct depiction of the love that you are professing that you have for me. Show me that you love me as much as you say that you love me. These are the conditions. Unconditional love can be dangerous if it is held for someone that is dangerous to you emotionally or psychologically. That's another difference between unconditional love and conditional love. Unconditional love can be dangerous because if you have unconditional love for a person and they know you love them unconditionally, it can open the door to them taking it for granted and doing all sorts of hurtful things to you because they know, they love me unconditionally, so it ain't like she going anywhere. It ain't like he's going anywhere. The love that we have is unconditional. And so when it comes to unconditional love, be careful, because it can be dangerous. With those dangerous people, go ahead, Stacy D.
I said, yes, it can be dangerous.
And it can sometimes increase the chances that a person is going to be careless with your heart. Okay. Unconditional love, in a way, some people take unconditional love as a free pass to act with cold, careless disregard for you and your feelings, your psyche, your heart, because they know you love them unconditionally. So the answer to the question today is, it is definitely possible to love someone too much. If you love that person unconditionally, despite them mistreating you, despite them harming you, despite them abusing you emotionally, psychologically, physically, sexually, whatever the case may be, yes, at that point, you are loving them too much.
You are loving them. That's when you love them too much.
You're loving them,
yes,
as they are destroying you. You are sacrificing your soul because you love them so much. That's too much. If you are loving the person so much unconditionally to the point that you are staying with them while they're treating you horribly and disregarding, their hurtful, negative behaviors, disregarding the impact that it is having up on you, that's a problem. If you love a person so much that you are willing to compromise yourself, you selling yourself out because you love them so much, you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize yourself. You like, how am I in this situation where I'm allowing myself to be treated this way? I don't recognize me. Then yes, to the question of, are you loving that person too much? Yes, you loving them so much that you love them more than you love yourself. Because if they were loving you on that same level, you wouldn't be having such a horrible experience with them. And so sometimes people get so focused on how much they love the other person that they neglect to think about how much they are supposed to be loving themselves. You cannot devalue yourself because you love someone else. Okay, so this is something that, and you let me know what your thoughts are, Stacy D. But I'm
right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Okay. So
and even on the conditional part of it, I think sometimes we have conditions on love about if you do this for me, then I love you. I mean, we have a lot of that, especially with children trying to make their parents love them. Oh, if I buy my mom this, or if I do this for my mom, then maybe she'll love me, because her love is on conditions. Like you said, a lot of parents do not have unconditional love. So if their child do this or don't, or do that, then they'll show them more love and affection.
That is another form of conditional love, where there's actual conditions. Mm-hmm. So you have conditional love where the condition is a healthy condition of, no, I'm going to love you and be here with you so long as you treat me well, with dignity and respect. Do not disregard my heart. Do not disregard my mind. That's healthy conditions. Unhealthy conditions is, well, I'm gonna love you, you do such and such and such. I'm gonna love you. You have to step back and ask yourself, am I loving this person too much? Am I loving them to my own detriment? Am I sacrificing myself because I love them so much?
So much.
And so any love that results in you tolerating maltreatment is absolutely too much love. Step back and take a look at you. Look at you and get in touch with what you deserve, how you deserve to be treated, how you deserve to be valued, and how your love you can love someone that much, that love is misdirected. You need to redirect that love back to loving you. And surround yourself with healthy people so that as you love them with that intensity, they appreciate it and do not take it for granted and use it as an opportunity to take advantage of you. I think we're good on this.
Good. We did that good in 15 minutes.
I had to.
Mr. Walker, here go my stick. It's my bail bond stick. Where my money?
Mr. Walker ain't been to jail, so he's like, first thing. Stacy D, do you take that stick with you when you bailing people out?
I told you I just had the grandbaby go out the car and get it. Where my money?
All right.
I sure do.
When she got to do her old bounty hunt.
I'm knock a window with this and anything, boy. Look, I can swing it around. Oh, it's no joke.
Lord,
look, I got spikes on it. Y'all better ask somebody. Don't play with my money.
Stacy D, what? I thought you stopped doing your own bounty hunting.
only when it's personal. Only when it's personal.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this wraps us up for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything. And please do not forget to like us on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes, like and share.
And share.
Thank you so much for joining us. God bless and take care.
Bye-bye now.